welcome everyone to season 2025. The Hockey Hour is back for another year, season 3 for us, episode 1. And we've got some big changes for this season, but first and foremost, the biggest change we have a new co-host, 250 games for the Hockeyroos, and she is now part of the Reds women's coaching setup and playing setup. I welcome Jane Claxton to the show.
Thank you. Lovely to be here, Jace.
No, thank you for being a part of it. Great to have you on board this year. We've got some big changes to come. Things will stay the same. So we've got we've got the Hockey WA news. We've got obviously all the results and fixtures of the Stiles Electrical Premier League. But we also have a couple of new segments. We have an Around the Ground segment where we'll chat to the Hockey WA community. We have a mailbag. The mailbag is coming up very shortly. We get your questions asked to us, and we'll answer them, well, as honestly as we can. And then we have one called Extra Time, where we're going to get a part of hockey, whatever it is, a structure or a skill set, and we're going to talk about that and try to give our opinions on what we think about it. So if you have anything you'd like to add to the show, we'll hit up Hockey WA on social media. If you've got someone you want us to talk to, that is a huge part of your club, a legend or a wonderful volunteer, a player, whoever it may be, let us know because we'd like to reach out to them and get them involved in the Hockey Hour. But let's get going, Jane.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's Hockey WA news time, and first up is the under-16s away at the National Championships, which is commencing in your hometown, Jane, Adelaide.
Yep, you'll see my statue there.
Put it up already, have they? Oh,
yeah, no,
very
it's
good.
Crazy.
Is it life size or is it?
Yeah, life size.
Life size. I like it. I like it. The WA Gold Boys will be coached by Ross Hall and Luke Anderson, and the Gold Girls to be coached by Stuart Wishart and Ella Munro, while the WA Black Boys are coached by Mitchell Russell and Neil Harpo Horgood, and the girls to be coached by Tony Cronk and Chelsea Rindell. So a couple of fantastic coaches there to be involved in the setup. Last year, the Gold Girls won bronze. Katie Wright was named Player of the Tournament, and the WA Gold Boys came fourth. We will get the results for you soon, but a fantastic initiative for the 16s is a little bit different because you would have come through 15s, I imagine, Jane.
Yeah, I did. Well, we did have 16 schoolgirls, but that was kind of a unique setup. Yes. I'm not too sure that's kind of still existing.
I think it's swapped now. So I think 15s is the school sport, and I think 16s is now, 14, 16s, 18s. So much more opportunity for playing at a higher level, 100%. Which gone of our days of 15s, 18s, and then 21s, and then that was it.
The real world.
That's it. That's it. We have the men's national development squad being announced, and we've got some West Australians a part of that squad. Max Friedman, Ollie Higgins, and Christian Starkey, all part of the men's squad. Cam Geddes, Tom Harvey, and James Collins joined Jake Harvey in the Kookaburra's main squad. Whilst for the women, that was announced in December. Sarah Burns, Nasa Flynn, Pippa Morgan, and Jessie Reid, a very heavy UWA group there, bar Sarah, of course, being a part of the women's development squad. Were you a part of a development squad before you got into the national squad?
No, I pretty much transitioned straight to 21s or Gillaroos, as they're called now, into the senior squad. So fortunate in that aspect. I kind of skipped that little interim ground. But, it's so competitive these days to get into both men's and women's squad. So, it's impressive to see. And a lot of those WA girls, there's a huge presence in that development squad from them.
Yeah, there's probably been a lot more WA athletes we've had over the last probably 5 years, even maybe 2, been a part of the development and the national squads, which is fantastic, obviously, for WA hockey. But 2032 Olympic news.
I know, impressive. I think unless you were living under a rock, Gold Coast has obviously been named as the 2032 Olympic hockey venue. And originally they were going to redevelop Ballymore, and there was going to be a drop-in turf. And I know there was a bit of grumbles like, we need a new facility, we need some upgrades. Obviously, Gold Coast Com Games being there previously. We've won out, and they're redeveloping the Gold Coast facility that hosted the 2018 Com Games.
Yes.
So a lot of excitement from the Queensland hockey community, I'm sure, and that'll be incredible for their, hockey development, but also give us another central hub within Australia that has an amazing setup.
Yeah, absolutely. Gold Coast is a brilliant facility.
Yeah,
to
it's
have
nice.
each side.
Nice location too. Great for tourists. So yeah, it'll be great to see what they develop it into, I think. And then on that kind of vein, Tim Strapp obviously being announced as the Gillaroos coach, taking over the reins from Stacey at Strains, Stacey Joseph.
Joseph, yep.
So her resignation obviously coming last month. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does. Stacey obviously doing an incredible job in that outset and developing a lot of those girls that have now transitioned into the Hockeyroos squad and quite seamlessly. So it's a credit to her. But obviously Strappy being involved in the assistant coach role, so he's definitely got a lot of experience under his belt in that age group and understanding the development pathways. So it'll be great to see. And obviously they are heading to Berlin, Germany in June for their European leg, and then off to Chile for the 2025 Junior World Cup, which is always exciting. I think that's the first taste of like really exciting, world-class, competitive competition when you are fortunate enough to go to a Junior World Cup.
Absolutely. It's going to be a fascinating team that goes because I'm sure there are still some that are in the Hockeyroos at the moment that are still under 21. I'm not exactly sure who, but it's going to be a wonderful team. And the women haven't been, you probably haven't finished it high enough that as we would have expected or liked in the past couple of Junior World Cups, I suppose.
Yeah, especially I think the last two. I think we were probably disappointed in how we performed. I obviously knew a lot of the girls going, and they had high expectations. They had a lot of girls that were already in the Hockeyroos.
Yes, that's right.
Obviously coming back to play in the Junior World Cup. But yeah, as I said, it's always competition hockey is so hard. I think it's like 8% if you've got a 12-man competition is going to win first place. So you'd never bet on a horse that was at an 8% chance. So it is incredibly difficult. But yeah, I back that Strappy's going to prepare them well, and there's a lot of talent in that age group. So it will be exciting to watch.
It certainly will be. We'll stay tuned to social media and the news to get the teams, and then obviously I'm sure there will be a spot where we're going to be able to watch the boys and the girls at the Junior World Cups at the end of the year. Now let's get to one of our new segments, Jane, the mailbag. The mailbag. We're getting questions from those that have written in to Hockey WA, and we're going to answer their questions. Now, for this week, no one's wanted to be named, and that's fine. We've got anonymous questions.
We like that. We like that.
I'm okay with anonymous questions, but let's get our first question out of the way. What do you guys think is the most important position on the field? We are not going to agree on this at all.
100%. We're going to be each biased to our own position, and obviously, I'm going to say centre mid / sweeper.
Oh look, it's a striker's world.
Yeah,
it's a striker's world. But as much as I say that,
can't win a game unless you put a goal in the net.
Exactly, and I say that, but then we've got drag flickers now, so
I know, yeah,
it's a changed world. But look, I think the way the game's played now, there is no important position because everyone's expected to play.
You can go through one line in one play. I think even at club hockey, I'm seeing a fullback suddenly as high striker because he's carried the ball and give and go, and you end up in the front line.
That's it.
And like the biggest asset every player can have is that they can play across all lines of the field, barring on goalkeeper. But sometimes I thought myself as a pretty good backup goalkeeper.
Really?
I reckon I can tap into that craziness a little bit more.
Oh, I'd love to see this. We might have
too short, but I wouldn't cover much of the goals. But I think, as you said, I think it's a huge asset now if you can play across every line and play it well and have the knowledge of how to go forward. Because like most of the time, halfbacks are nearly getting shots in the circle these days.
Exactly. They're running along the baseline. I think Albers was probably one, who just, you'd see her on the baseline and she'd be scoring goals, and she was just playing it right half, right? Yeah. So no, it's a great, decisive question to start us, but I like it. It's a good start. Yeah. Number 2, has the aerial pass been nerfed with the new rule? Well, I'm going to park that one because we're actually going to talk about that later. So let's park that question. And we'll give our opinions on that in extra time, which will be later on in the show. So let's park that one. Most underrated player not from your club. Ooh.
It's a hard one, I guess, 2 games in. Yeah, I haven't actually been able to see every single club so far, but I know there's a few junior talents that are out there. We'll obviously mention Wolves later on in the segment when we have an interview with Greta, but there is a talented young player in Wolves that I was spying on the weekend whilst I was commentating pseudo scouting for Reds in Madison Naish. That really impressed me. Love her speed, love her breaking lines. Taking the game on at a senior level is so hard, I think, from a junior. But she seemed really comfortable out there, and whether it's the people that are surrounding her are letting her play like that or her own drive and want to be better, it was so impressive to see, I think.
I saw her in the final series last year, and then she ended up being named in the Thunder Six squad. So she's had some time at the highest, national, state level, being around players as well. So for her to grow now from the game you've watched, I think she's definitely going to be one to watch. The one for me, and I think, look, I think he's not. He probably is underrated, to be fair. I've just forgotten his name now. He plays for Wasps.
That memorable.
Jack Kruger.
Oh yeah,
Jack Kruger from Wasps. Young guy as well. I've seen him at Wasps would sometimes train before us at Perth Hockey Stadium. He, I think, is going to be a talent. I think he's probably a little bit underrated at the moment because of his age, but I think he's got all the means to be a good hockey player. So Jack Kruger for me. But another good question, but again, hard to answer. We haven't seen everyone just yet. There might be someone popping up left, right, and centre. Or probably another. I guess the next question, another harder one to answer. So who has impressed you so far, or who do you think are the best Premier League players currently in the men's and women's competition is the question, but probably a hard one.
Yeah, again, a hard one. Yeah, definitely a midway season question when you've got a few examples and you see people how they perform week on, week out, because you can have some outliers in these first 2 rounds. Yeah, that's a hard one. We've obviously commentated together and we've seen a few great set plays and great players. And if you remove the Hockeyroos and Kookaburras element to it and just looking at Clubland, there's a few people that are scoring hat tricks this early on in the season, which is pretty impressive. So you've got the Maddie Ratcliffes, you've got the Ellie Buckleys, multiple goal scorers already, nearly in the tens. Meanwhile, I'm on 1. So they're the game changers to me. And obviously in Clubland, you're looking for points, you're looking for wins, and when you have those players on the field, it's hard.
100%. You're probably looking at the people who are finishing top 5 in the Charlesworth and Olympians medals for the last few years, right? So the Staines brothers for one, Davis Atkin for the 3 of them at Melville. You got Liam Flynn at Hale, the Buckleys at Wolves. You've got how many of them at UWA? Jesse Reed and Nasa Flynn and Bella Ramshaw and those sort of players. So bit hard to say who the best players are, but I think there's a host of them. So I agree.
I think it'll be a competitive medal to win this year.
I think
which is exciting for WA hockey. I think
it's gonna be a great count. You've got obviously national development players coming over. Ben White made his debut for Vic Park from Victoria. So players like that coming over and being a part of it, I think it's going to be a fantastic season. I completely agree with you. The whole season is going to be very tight and very close. Last question in the mailbag. With the increase of zonal pressing in the Premier League, what do you think teams need to focus on to counter that?
Wow, that's a very technical question.
I know.
Is this a coach wanting an answer?
Well, there could be. Yeah, they're anonymous, so
yeah,
could be someone writing in. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it is. I think executing a zonal press in itself is really tough.
Yes.
You have to have people across the lines with incredible hockey knowledge to understand when to leave a player versus when they need to be tightly marking. And it's something I know personally now diving into the coaching zone, it's so hard to make black and white rules in pressing. And as soon as you do, someone goes, yeah, but you said that. And you're like, damn it. I think the zonal press is always broken by counter movement leads across the grain leads, across distance and space leads. So if you're a right striker leading to the other side or leading to the midfield channel, it's so hard to hand over multiple players. And so for me, that's always something, if I'm in a zonal, in terms of the attacking sense, not necessarily in the press, I'm looking to, make people have to keep looking where I am.
Yes, you've got to find the weak link, I suppose, so to speak, the one who attaches, and then it opens the channel. For as long as probably we've been playing, it's been player to player, man to man, lady to lady. Someone's always going to attach or get caught just following, and then that's what breaks it open. So it's very difficult at Premier League to get it right.
It is. Even at an international level, like we toyed with various different structures, and you're always going to come up against teams that challenge it in different ways. And in clubland, everyone plays differently. Everyone has a different structure, and people have different strengths across different lines. It's interesting though. People are now employing it a lot more. It's a lot nicer on the legs sometimes when you don't have to follow around the player. That's for sure.
Yeah, and then working about let's hand off. No, I'll stay. No, you follow. And then it's
a lot of concentration. Which is actually a skill in itself to be able to really hone in and concentrate the entire time.
Great questions, all 5 of them. Well, we haven't touched on number 2, but we will later in the show. But if you have questions for us, send them to Hockey WA via the Instagram story. Answer their post. They'll be posting it every Thursday. So if you miss out, you can message them on Instagram as well and let us know your questions. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us what club you're playing for and who you are, because we want to try and answer them for you. And it can be... what does Jane do on a weekend? Like, besides hockey? Well, we're happy to answer those questions. We're happy to answer those questions. But that was the mailbag for episode 1. Let's get into the Stiles Electrical Premier League roundup. Let's run through the games from the women's side of the league. Let's start with the first game of the weekend, and it was a tight 2-1 victory for UWA against YMCC. The goal scorer, Shaney Nelson, getting herself on the score sheet. I love it.
In there.
Plus, she's still got it with these pups, let's say.
Yeah.
Prada Heron as well on the score sheet. Celeste LaRue on the board for YMCC. This would have been a tight contest. This is not a convincing win for UWA.
No, and I think probably coming into the season, not many people knew what YM were probably going to throw at them, and I think the last 2 rounds have shown they're a team to earmark and make sure that when you head into that game, you've done your research. So, I assume UWA would have gone into that thinking that they're probably going to get a decent win. It's impressive.
Yep, I agree with you there. I think YM going to be a fascinating team this year. We go to the next game, Hale and Wasps. Hale scoring 2 very early goals in the first 5 minutes through Claire Colwell and Sienna Joubert. And then Ivy Foster and Mickey Spano on the board for Hale. Ko Miata and the return of Steph Kershaw getting herself on the board.
Not shocked. She loves a goal. But, rehabbing her knee seems to be okay, I guess.
Fine if you're back in smashing in goals. But I think that was probably a result we expected. I wouldn't have been happy with their first week against Wolves.
They were probably very disappointed in their first outset. Quite a convincing win from Wolves versus Hale in the first round. But, I think they went out with a point to prove, wanting to slot some goals, get some structure back, get some confidence back as well. Because obviously, if you look at their team list, it's a bit different from previous years. A lot younger girls, not many of the older ones that have normally been there, but you still have the likes of Kirst Dwyer out there in the back group.
Yep, 100%.
Experienced defender. So, it'll be interesting to see how they work into the season.
Definitely. We go to your game, Jane. 5-0 over Raiders goal scorers. Britt Wang, the New Zealand international now. Happy to say that. Great to see her make her debut over the off-season. Abby Davies, Lucy Sharman, and you.
I know.
Stop it. In the 5th minute. And it's not even a penalty corner.
Oh, I know. Crazy.
Where
No,
were
I'm
you?
not a known goal scorer, as most commentators ever call me. But yeah, I'm at right place, right time.
Happy with the result?
Yeah, I think so. The previous week, we probably weren't as happy with our finishing in the circle. We had a lot more opportunities, didn't convert as well. This week, we had I guess, like a 2 quarters of power hockey, and then didn't score the rest. But yeah, hot conditions. We were happy with the outcome at the end of the day.
Absolutely. The second last game was a 1-0 victory for Lions over Vic Park. Vic Park playing their first game of the season due to having the bye in the first round. Meg McCaffrey, the only goal scorer in the third quarter, so a very tight contest. Annie Gibbs making her debut for Vic Park, which is a big move.
Very handy pickup.
And the return of Tatum Stewart. Great to see her back out on the field, and this would have been a fairly tight contest as the score predicts, but Lions were able to hold on.
Yeah, I was tracking this throughout the day, and I was interested to see, obviously, with Tatum being out there, their drag flicking threat, overhead threat. But yeah, Lions obviously equaling. If you look paper to paper, they're pretty equal across the lines about talent, and Annie Gibbs being a great pickup for Vic Park in that midfield zone. So yeah, I'm sure they will be up in the top 4.
Absolutely. And then the last game was a comprehensive 6-1 victory for the reigning premiers, Westside Wolves, over Melville. And we're going to chat to Greta Hayes later in the show. But Maddie Radcliffe returning to Wolves, getting a double, a hat-trick to Ellie Buckley, as scoring goals as she does at will, and Grace Powell, the other goal scorer, whilst for Melville, a debut goal for Abby Wilson, of course, one of the Hockeyroos that have come over to WA. So I think we probably would have thought this would have been the result, and probably thought it would have been heavy. It's going to be a tough year for Melville. They were late to return or to stay in the competition, and probably at a cost, because I think they've lost probably a few players to other places. Yeah. So it is going to be a tough year for them. But they've got some names on there that are still very talented. The Clark sisters have been around. Chloe Forbes, I think, is their captain's a very good player. Obviously, Maddie Smith and Abby Wilson are going to help guide as much as possible whilst they're here. So a lot for Jeremy Davy to work with, but no relegation. So
no, yeah.
It's,
it was 1-1 going into halftime, and so it just shows probably more experience that in that back end of the game. They probably don't have the legs just quite yet to finish it off, and probably relying on too few people early on, and then fatigue sets in. But they were pretty impressive early on, and they kept up with Wolves, and then obviously the powerhouse that is across the Wolves lines stepped up a little bit in the second half.
That leaves Wolves, Reds, UWA and Lions all undefeated on 6 points on top of the ladder at the moment. Maddie Radcliffe leading the goal scoring with 5 goals, and Ellie Buckley on 4. Courtney Chanel from UWA on 3 goals. Let's move to the men's side of the league, and we go back to Saturday, I think it is, UWA and YMCC, and it was a victory 6-4 to YMCC. They've beaten last year's grand finalists, both of them, in Melville and UWA. Max Friedman with a double, Cooper Burns from the Kookaburras, and of course Hockey Club Melbourne with 1. Jacob Anderson, the former Kookaburra, Liam Hart, one of their imports, and Toby Blee on the score sheet. Harry Golding, Jacob Evans, and a double to the big dog, Chris Sorello, who returns to their lineup this week. I don't doubt YM is going to be a good team, but I probably didn't see them winning this game.
No, neither. It was a bit of a shock when I saw that scoreline, and quite a competitive scoreline. Both teams obviously getting their own opportunities. Having the big dog out there obviously helped in many respects corner-wise. But yeah, it'll be exciting. There's a lot of underdogs coming through, and YM seem to, both men's and women's, be really performing already.
They have some very good young talent, do YM. So they're going to be one to watch this year. Obviously, have signed Jacob Anderson for the season, which is a great get, and then the two Kookaburras in Liam Henderson and Cooper Burns. So they're going to add so much to their group as well. So they're going to be a fascinating watch this year, YMCC. Fremantle Coburn getting their first full points, their first win of the season. Reece Angwin and Erin Hazel with a double each. Anand Gupta with the single for Whitford. All the goals in the first half in this one. So it was a dour second half. But, yeah, look, I think Freo will be a pretty decent team this year. Whether they're going to be able to, they've got a new import in. I'm probably going to struggle saying his name here. Juan Garazabal, I'm going to go with. Spanish import.
Say Spanish.
Yes, Spanish import. So they're going to be a good team. They've lost a few players in Tim Deven being one, and of course a couple of imports they had from last year that are now in the Kookaburras. But Ben Rennie didn't play this game either. So Jai Clark from NT played this game, but Ben Rennie's going to be really important for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Their skipper. So no, it's that's a good win for Fremantle Coburn. As we go to the next game of the night, this is the one you commentated, Jane. Melville and Wolves, and it was a 1-0 victory for Wolves.
Yeah.
Aaron Kleinschmidt getting on the scoreboard. Tell us about the game.
Yeah, it was a classic Kleinschmidt goal. Hard ball in, jumps in front of his defender deflection, which is nice to see. It was kind of tightly fought, arm wrestle the whole game. Both teams had their opportunities. I would say Melville had more of the opportunities in terms of PCs and the PC threat they have in obviously James Day.
Yep.
But didn't necessarily convert. Westside Wolves, though, they had some great defensive efforts. I actually ran into Keating, who was umpiring my game the next day. I was like, look, sounds like I had the hots for you in commentary. You were everywhere. You were a deep defender, taking literally every free hit. And then I saw you in the attacking circle. And so when you have those players that have a lot of depth and a lot of experience, not necessarily the ones you earmark at the start as being an import or a Kookaburra, they really come through, I think, with the goods. But I think Melville were probably unlucky to not get on the scoreboard. I thought Matt Willis did really well through that striker midfield zone. And as you said, Davis Atkin holding up through that centre mid zone. So they do have a lot of talent. Obviously didn't have their Kookaburras there in Lockie Sharp and Tim Brand. But
Staines boys missing as well from what I can see here.
Yeah.
Yep. So they must have been away. So
but equally so did Wolves. They didn't have Jake Harvey, Joel Rintala.
Yeah, of course.
Tom Harvey. I'm not too sure where these Kookaburras are at the moment.
I think they're injured. I think the Harvey boys and Joel Rintala are injured, so they may not have them for a lot of the season, I guess. But so that's a good win for Wolves, and Melville are 0-2, so that's a fascinating outcome.
And I definitely thought they would come out of the gate really strong, considering the previous week's result wasn't that great.
Absolutely. So fascinating result there. Wolves another contender for the year. We go to Sunday's game, Mods and Vic Park, a 5-2 victory for Vic Park, getting their first winning points of the season. Pierce Painter and Richard Chilcott on the scoreboard for Mods. Lawson Patton-Williams, Kai Steerett, a double to Ben White, who's come over from Hockey Club Melbourne or Victoria, and Hayden Vaidakanis on the scoreboard for Vic Park. Comfortable result. I haven't spoken to the guys, but I'd imagine letting the 2 goals in would be of concern, although I don't really know how good or bad they were. So from a defensive point of view, I should say, I'm sure they were fantastic for Mods Guildford. But there's some work to do for John McGurk in that he's got quite a young list, and Jed Snowden's obviously going to help in the net, but there's a lot of development there for the coming seasons for them, and seeing the likes of Deletti and a Duff on the playing list gives some excitement to the Mods Guildford team. But for Vic Park, this is one they just had to win, and they go and get it done, which is a good result for them. Having the Kookaburras, Kai Willett and James, I don't think James Collins actually played, he's named, but I'm not sure if he played. But having Kai, I think, is helpful, and then Ben White. I mean, he's going to be a fascinating watch this year. Ben White. I really like the way he goes about it. So I think he's going to be a fascinating watch for Vic Park, and could cause some defensive trouble for defences around the league. Hale and Wasps played a 4-4 draw. It was Charlie McIntyre opening the score in the first minute of the game. He got a second later on. Trent Mitten and Sean Shackley getting on the scoreboard, whilst for Hale, Ian Grobbler got one. Your brother getting on the score sheet, Matt Claxton.
He heard I scored and he wanted me to be the star sibling.
Yeah. And Liam Flynn, a double himself. I'm sure that's something he would have texted you about too.
Oh, 100%. Well, actually, his wife did.
I love it. But that's a fascinating result. I think Wasps are going to be a good team this year. They had Connor Otterback debut for them, who's also come over from Victoria.
Yep.
Ollie Higgins in the net's going to be very good. They're going to be a fascinating watch this year, Wasps.
Obviously Trent Mitten trying to keep up with the youngins out there, but offers probably a lot of stability up front.
100%.
As we saw him round one, every time he got hold of the ball, he was making something of it. So it's always hard when you've got people pulling you in different directions when you've got multiple threats. Yeah,
definitely. I think Hale will be a fascinating watch this year for me. Leon Hayward in the net's massive for them.
Huge.
They've got obviously the Belts brothers, although it doesn't look like one of them played. Only Josh played. They're going to be a fascinating watch. I think they're going to be good enough, but that's probably a game they should win.
Yeah. They've obviously had Liam Flynn out there and scores 50 goals a season, it feels like, and showed it on the weekend. But I'm sure they probably wanted a better result out of that.
100%. Last game of the round, a 4-0 comfortable victory for Reds over North Coast Raiders. Single goals to Adrian Lockley, Jamie Lewis, Brody Foster and Zach Rackus. I'm sure you would have caught your eye on this game, James.
I watched it. True club dedication by me. You're late on your Sunday arvo when you'd rather be at home. They've got some great striking power in Reds, obviously, and then obviously corner threats help that. And then when Gubbers recovers from his injury, it'll be a hard task to keep balls out of the net in their PCA structure. Yeah, and having Sam Gray come over, I think, is going to be helpful for their defence. And then obviously they've signed in Dill Martin as well. Yep. Into the midfield with Jack Hayes, who's obviously player coaching this year, taken over from Ian Smith. So. They're going to be. I think they're going to be in that clump in the middle. I think with a lot of teams. So another team who's going to be fascinating to watch. Whilst for Raiders again, this is going to be another season where they're going to hopefully develop some more younger players and try to build on what they've been doing. So another big job for Len Fernandez with Raiders this year. We go quickly to the ladder. YMCC, the only undefeated team at the moment. Fremantle, Coburn and Vic Park are in on 4 points, as well as who else is there? Hale and Fremantle, Coburn and Wasps. So about 5 teams on 4 points. So clammed up at the moment, but Liam Flynn are already sitting on top of the goal scoring ladder with 5 goals and Brody Foster on 4 trailing him. But let's see how that goes. Surely someone is going to shut down Liam at some point this year. I don't know how he does it. I really would like some tips.
Sometimes just being in the circle all the time helps.
That does help.
If
rather
you don't
than
leave
wasting your energy out in the midfield and defence.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at the fixtures for this weekend, and I'll get a quick tip from you, Jane. Friday night, and that'll be on the broadcast. That'll be the broadcast game. Hale taking on North Coast Raiders.
Mm-hmm. Women's perspective, I would expect Hale to come out and get that win.
Hale there.
Yeah, across the board, I would say.
Saturday's games, Westside Wolves and Wasps.
Westside Wolves.
Wolves.
Yeah, especially if they've got the same lineup as they did on the last 2 weekends. I think they should probably, especially in the women's. Men's, not too sure. I think that will be a bit more competitive. Wasps potentially coming out of that.
Yep. In the women, Whitford and Melville. That's going to be a fascinating contest.
Yeah, I think that will be kind of the deciding factor, to be honest. I think Whitford's will come out. I'm not too sure if they've got Penny Squibb back or yet from injury, because obviously they had the bye this weekend.
Yep.
for obviously the men, I think Melville will come out on top for that.
We should certainly win that game, yep. And then Lions and YMCC for the women.
Ooh, I think YMCC are sneaky here.
You reckon?
Think.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
know,
I like it.
I'm getting their vibes. I think they're looking for another win.
Okay.
But yeah, Lions are strong, but I like an outside bet.
All right. I'm probably going to stick with Lions on that one.
Fine.
Let's go to. Well, I don't have to ask you the last game because you're going to pick your team. So Vic Park and Reds rounding
we'll
out.
Just pick each other's.
Vic Park and Reds rounding out on Sunday for the women. UWA with the bye for the men. Hale and Raiders on Friday night.
Yeah, Hale. I
Hale?
would say, yeah.
I think you've mentioned you like Wasps over Wolves for the men.
I think so. Okay. Some nice striking force from what I've seen from Wasps men. Obviously, yeah, we mentioned Wolves defenders are pretty hard to get past, so it will be a battle.
Yes, I think I like Wasps there as well. Melville and Whitford, I probably agree with you. I think Melville should win that game. UWA and Fremantle Coburn. Interesting.
Yeah.
I think UWA should win this game.
On paper, yes, and in previous results, and I think they should. But Freo.
Yep.
They
find a way.
They find a way. They are hard contesting team. I'll put that politically correctly.
I like that.
So
they pride themselves on that.
Yeah. I love it. I love that form of hockey. So yeah, I think it'll be hard. It will be a hard task.
Okay.
I think, but yeah,
I like
UWA.
Vic Park and Reds, we know where our allegiances lie. And then rounded out Mods and YMCC at the Troy Pickard Hockey Centre.
Yeah, I'd say YM. They've got a lot of talent out there.
Yeah,
Gosh.
I agree. It's going to be another wonderful weekend. This is officially round one, of course, having the gala rounds in the last 2 weeks. So make sure you get out if you can, because I know everyone's hockey starts this weekend. Get out if you can and support your club in the Stiles Electrical Premier League. Hockey WA is thrilled to have the continued support of Stiles Electrical Services as the naming rights sponsor of the 2025 Premier League men's and women's competitions. With over 25 years of experience in sports lighting, Stiles Electrical Services is committed to supporting hockey's growth in WA by assisting clubs with floodlighting upgrades and strengthening pathways for athlete development. Their ongoing support will help enhance one of the world's strongest domestic hockey competitions, and we cannot thank them enough for their support. Visit stileselectrical.com.au to find out more about Stiles Electrical and how they can help your club. All right, it's time to chat to the players in the league, and we're doing it a bit differently this year. We're going to chat to one player each week from our clubs. Of course, we've got, I think it's 23 across the men and women. We're going to start with the ladies, and what better place to start than with the reigning premiers. We've got one of their Hockey-Roo stars with us. Greta Hayes is on the line. Welcome to the show, Greta.
Thanks, Jess. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. Now, we've been starting something new this year with a little bit of an icebreaker. We're going to ask everyone their coffee order.
Oh, it depends on the day. I'm either a long black with a dash of oat milk, or if I'm feeling a bit more, I guess, hungry, I'll go an almond latte.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Interesting. I'm going to be fascinated by this all year because I feel like we're never going to get the same unless someone
milk
just
mix-ups there are unique.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, all the alternative milks really so it's better when it works.
Oh, fantastic. Let's just go back to last season very quickly. I know we're 2025, but season 2024 saw Westside Wolves, I guess, surprise everyone and take out the women's Stiles Electrical Premiership. You got it done in a shootout in the end. It was a fantastic game of hockey, and I don't think many would have thought that you guys could have won, or I mean, besides yourselves, of course, and your club. It was, and I say surprise respectfully. You guys you probably weren't the favourites going in.
That's how I'd say as well. It was a bit of a surprise.
But your name's in the history books nonetheless. Tell us about the euphoria after the game and how you celebrated. How was it felt amongst the group?
Well, whenever you win a premiership or a big competition like that, obviously the celebrations are rather large. We always have our wine tour shortly after the season. So that was kind of, I guess, for us, the culmination of celebrations was the day after our grand final on the Sunday. We had our Wolves wine tour, which is always very well organised. Gemma Buckley is always all over the organisation of the wine tour and all of the Wolves social events. But yes, like you said, it was rather surprising that we did come away with the grand final win. So, obviously everyone's on a huge high with, all of the adrenaline that comes with that, and all of the adrenaline as well that comes from going into extra time and then going into shootouts as well. We went into extra time every one of our finals leading into the grand final. So we were pretty cooked, but definitely loads of adrenaline. And then golden goal in the shootout as well was just the extra touch. But yes, very happy, surprised, and yeah, obviously lots of fun.
Yeah, you definitely. I guess it was a scorching day too. Every final day is so hot as well. So that's
it
great
gets
that you
progressively hotter and hotter as the finals go through.
I know, it's horrible. So yeah, start to this season, obviously, 2 from 0 and some big wins under your belt. What are you guys kind of coming into this season looking at, and how have you gone over the last few games?
Yeah, well, I think heading into this season, we've picked up a few new and a few returning faces. So I guess these first couple of games have really had a focus of just trying to get our flow together as a team, get those connections, and just figure out how each other play and remembering how each other play, really. So yeah, I think we had a really good, strong first game against Hale to start, and I think we probably surprised ourselves with how well we connected, and yeah, I guess finding those passes and those connections within the team. But then taking on Melville last week, we weren't as connected, but I think it's an important step. It's obviously a very long season and not every game is going to be perfect from start to finish. So I think, yeah, we're taking some learnings, playing around with some positions and some new players in the squad as well. So yeah, it's exciting.
New players. You've added one of your teammates in Grace Young, current Hockey-Roo, but then you've added 2 former Hockey-Roos, one of them being Geordie Holtzberger and the other being Maddie Radcliffe returning to the club. That's huge. Like, how have they fitted into the group so far?
Yeah, well, Rat's, played lots of games with Wolves in the past. So, yeah, she's fitted back in quite seamlessly. And yeah, Geordie's definitely fit in really well. She's playing in our midfield, really strong. She's obviously a really good ball carrier, really nice skills. And I think having those new additions just like further enhance the depth in our group. I think that was one of the things that we had on our side last year was we did have pretty good depth in the team. And so, it's just like lifted that standard once again, having those girls come in, which is really, I don't know, I feel quite privileged playing in a club team where you literally have 11 players around you, 10 players around you on the field who are all of like super amazing quality and super great hockey players. And yeah, I think it makes it easy to connect and gel well together as a team, especially when you've got players with that much experience under their belts.
Isn't it?
I know, yeah. I was commentating on the weekend this game and I was watching their subs. I'm like, it's like for like subbing here. Like you've got Maddie Ratcliffe on, Gemma subbing her, and then I'm like, this is wild. But like, as you
very
said,
lucky. It's pretty good.
It's rare in club environment where you get to rely on those types of experienced players to be throughout the season, and you as a Hockey-Roo sometimes get to take a little bit of a back seat rather than playing the main player role, which is nice. You have a few really talented players. When I was commentating on the weekend, I was really impressed by, I think it's Madison Naish in your team. She is one powerhouse. She, I think, could outsprint most people in Premier League. It's impressive to see how much development you guys have also had from you.
Yeah, and that was one of the important things that Jade had said to me when I'd come to the club was, there's a really strong focus on developing the juniors and helping them come through the ranks. And it's fun at Wolves because you do kind of feel like you're part of that family. You're helping the young ones come through. Maddie is definitely one of the ones who've stepped up. She continues improving year in, year out. And you're right, she's so fast. And yeah, she's definitely one to watch in the future. She played super well on the weekend, and yeah, she just continues to improve. And so yeah, it is fun being part of that, I guess, family, and watching the younger players grow, helping them develop as people and as players. And yeah, it's a fun team.
Yeah, it certainly would be. It's like, yeah, playing with your mates and winning games of hockey, and then you've got these great youngsters who, you're nurturing and they're clearly getting everything that you're teaching them. So it's kind of that warm, fuzzy feeling as well. So, no, I think you guys are the team to beat definitely again this year. You've got Wasp this weekend, but I don't really want to ask about that because I know recently you've been named as the Social Impact and Participation Coordinator at Hockey Australia, which I know is something quite close to your heart. Can you tell us a bit more about that role?
Yeah, so I stepped into this role. It actually all happened very quickly whilst I was away on tour for Pro League. And I just recently quit my nursing job. I wasn't really finding the nursing lifestyle was very conducive to the high performance hockey lifestyle, and just wasn't loving that so much. And this job opportunity came up, and essentially it is combining loads of my passions in one role. So it's everything reconciliation, pride and inclusion, all abilities, with a little bit of sustainability in there on the side as well. So yeah, all different things that I'm super passionate about, and very well, my boss is Liam Henderson's mum, so that makes it she understands. And yeah, so it's flexible and works well around the hockey training, and yeah, definitely a much better version of myself now than I was when I was doing the nursing.
Yeah, I can imagine nursing would be very difficult being a high performance athlete. So no, it sounds like it's a perfect role for you, and I'm glad you're enjoying it, which is fantastic, as it makes on-field performance, I think, much better as well. So thank you very much for joining us. Your first guest for player guest for 2025. Wish you and the Wolves girls all the best for another season, and I feel we're going to be talking to it again towards September.
I hope so. Oh, thanks, Jace. Thanks, Jane. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much, Gretz.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome, mate. Thank you very much. We'll catch up with you soon, I'm sure.
Great. Sounds good to me. Thank you.
Thanks, Greta. See you soon.
Thanks, Gretz.
Bye, guys.
See ya. Bye.
How good are they going to be this year, Jane?
I know. I'm so jealous. God, as I said, I commentated their game against Melville on the weekend, and they have some great talent out there, but also quite selfless talent. You can have a team of champions, but they don't necessarily play well as a team. But you can see they get it, and they move the ball so well, and it's great to see. So they'll definitely be a force to reckon with, especially after, I think it was 5-1 win against Hale round one, and Hale's a strong side. So yeah,
100%. Well, one of our new segments on the Hockey Hour this year is called Around the Grounds, and we're going to be chatting to Clubland, and we're going to be chatting to people who have had a journey at the club you're at, or they're involved in, I should say. They can be volunteers, they can be coaches, they could be players. We want to chat to these people and find out more about them, and well, there's no better place to start than the big club, Hockey WA, and one of their absolute stalwart and stars of the administration team. She is the what is she? What doesn't she do is probably the question, Jane. She's the game development and the operations manager, as well as the general manager for your Perth Thundersticks. We have on the line Shayley McGurk Davy. Welcome to the show, Shayley.
Thanks, Jace. Thank you, Jane.
We finally got you.
Yeah, finally. I've done my best to avoid it over the past couple of years.
Oh, awesome. I don't think there would be one person in Hockey WA that wouldn't know who Shayley is, surely. If it's not from her, extreme fashion sense, and everyone be envious when she's walking around the grounds, to just how great she is at running any type of show that's happening at Perth Hockey Stadium, I reckon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
We're going to start with a bit of an icebreaker. What's your coffee order?
Oh, summertime is an ice long back extra shot.
Extra shot.
I only have it's one coffee a day. That's it.
Fair enough.
The way to work. Nothing more than one. But in winter, that's just then a long mat topped up.
Okay, I like it. I
Yeah,
think
I
we're
like
going to get
that.
some fascinating answers if we ask all year.
Sure.
So I love that. I love that. But Jane's got you. Jane's got you first.
Yeah, so Shales, where did your sports admin career begin, I guess?
Oh, way back in 2001, I registered to be part of an AFL Sports Ready traineeship program. So the AFL had created this whole practical experience and formal education opportunity, and so I took that on. I was a little bit uncertain about what I wanted to do after having graduated Year 12, and my placement was at the Australian Institute of Sport, which back then in 2001 was the Hockey Australia program here in Perth. So I started out in the national program way back when.
Wow, what a good placement.
I know.
How did you score that?
I was a little bit overwhelmed. That's probably an understatement. But just such a privilege to come in and look after sort of sports operations for the men's and women's programs, so Kookaburras and Hockeyroos, and was then really lucky to have been there for two Olympic cycles and was a part of Athens. Like, I'll never forget that. That was amazing.
I was going to say, I was going to ask if you were part of Athens, but yeah, you were, and that would have been
Like the baby.
would have been a fantastic time.
I know, gosh.
It was wild. I still remember the team manager, Ray Dorset, calling it some, unreal time. I think it was 4 a.m. in the morning. Like, we were watching it, but he's like, we just won. And it was amazing, like, for everybody. But yeah, just to be connected and to have been a part of that was really special.
Awesome. Everyone has complex titles, I guess, in every job role they do, but explain a bit about your job role, that being game development operations at Hockey WA.
Yeah, there's a bit in there, isn't there? Right. So I oversee the development and implementation of programs that overall look after the experience of hockey, and that's from grassroots to elite performances. So we here at Hockey WA view that role as being quite crucial to growing and sustaining our sport. And it includes everything from competitions, events, participation, servicing our regions, integrity, risk, governance, as well as the venue and infrastructure projects. So quite complex, like you're saying, as the title probably infers, but it's relatively new for me. I've been really lucky that I've been transformative in all of my roles here at Hockey WA, and this came into play in November of last year. So still finding my way with some elements, but really exciting nonetheless.
Oh, it's a fantastic role that you're doing, and it sounds like you absolutely love it as well. And why wouldn't you? Because you're doing something that is part of helping people day in and day out. But one of the exciting things happened to you last year, where you were nominated for the Sports Administrator of the Year with Sports West. Tell us how you felt being nominated.
So probably twofold, right? So first time I was nominated in 2024, and I had no idea. It wasn't a nomination from myself, it wasn't from our executive, it came from two of my colleagues as well as a peer at Healthway. Let's just submit this on behalf of Shayley. And so I didn't know until such time as receiving I was a finalist that had occurred. So I was, for those that know me, I was a little bit, what? How did you keep this from me? So that played out. And then obviously, the next year around, it happened all again, and I was fortunate enough to be a finalist and then to win, take the trophy.
Wow, what an honour to though be nominated by your peers,
That's
not
cool.
like from people above you, but those that work with you recognise how great you are. It's like, it gives you a warm feeling inside, I reckon.
It carries a bit more weight, doesn't it, right?
It does,
It comes from your peers. I can't speak for you two, but I'm perhaps assuming, you never go searching for accolades, but when it does come from your peers, it carries so much more weight.
100%.
Yeah, I was really, really blown away. Had a couple of chirps that, as only Shales would do, and let them know, I can't believe you kept this for me.
That's
That's the diplomatic response.
no, I love it.
And so, yeah, look, and then in 2025 to actually, take out Administrator of the Year, it was, a real privilege. It just sort of validated my efforts and my commitment to sport and to the community. So, yeah, that's having been in hockey for a very long time. It's a nice motivator. It continues to inspire me that people still value what you do, and so that was, I sort of took that with two hands and was really proud.
It must have been nice going up on stage and being comfortable with the person up there, because Ash Nelson, one of Hockey WA's very own, was hosting the night. Of course, Channel 10, I should say, but not to get the wrong one here. Channel 10 reporter now, and that must have made you feel much more comfortable chatting with Ash after.
You know what? That's what I thought, and I got up there, and she trumped me. Twofold. No, I was mortified at my sort of lack of response. Foremost, I was like, this is Ash, two good country kids. She's from Wagen, I'm from Collie. We can just have some really top-line banter. It'll be humorous and engaging. And she absolutely stumped me. I looked at her and I went, and even thereafter, it's a bit of an ongoing joke now. I'm like, very, very rarely am I lost for words, but I had nothing. I think I was shocked just in the calibre of who was nominated, and then just shocked on an evening like that. Clearly I'd done some preparation, but it was nothing on what Ash asked me. So I'll find her in due course.
I guess you now know how Chad Warner felt when she sprung him at the airport the other week. So she's very good at what she does.
She
is so amazing at what she does. Like now, I just did not have the capacity or capability to even go, I can just put two words together. I was stumped.
Oh, I can imagine. She loves that. She loves it.
Doesn't she?
So forward casting, I guess, what does your role in Game Development Department and Hockey WA look like, and what are you kind of looking to implement over this season, but beyond that?
Yeah, great question. We're really excited about some of the elements that have we've been able to design and push out of our strategy. So overarching, we made a really strong commitment to how we look after growth as well as building sustainable clubs. So there are a few competition structure changes that occurred last year, and so having agreed, so our council, which is our presidents as well as us, we're now into rolling out that framework. And that looks ultimately after the growth and long-term success of our clubs. It's an exciting time. I think there's some really strong engagement and collaboration with our clubs. So we're quite optimistic that this can be a really long-term successful implementation. And those four pillars cover governance, participation, workforce development and facilities. So that's quite robust. That'll take up a lot of our time. But then the other element really for us is just around building our junior participation, so expanding into hooking to hockey provider centres. Grassroots is everything, like most sports speak to, and it's really important now that we've been able to commercialise that asset. So all sort of sub-junior participation programs across Australia are now recognised as hooking to hockey program centres. So that allows us to really advocate and sell what that program is and build that brand. So I would say, notwithstanding all of our other business as usual, there are two big pillars for 2025.
Awesome. I love the junior part. It's always, grassroots is always the hardest part, especially in a sport like ours. So I love what you're doing there.
Thank you.
Last question before we let you go. In one sentence, what does hockey mean to you?
It's a community. It's a safe space to be able to bring people together, and obviously it's hockey in this instance, but really it's just that social fabric that brings us all together. I've been really lucky to be involved with, a lot of sports having grown up, and they still bring that same camaraderie and that same connection. And but yeah, sport is far more than just performance and competition. It's family.
I love it.
Yeah,
Amen.
that's what it means to me.
No, that's fantastic. We love it, Shayley. Thank you so much for being our first guest on the Around the Ground segment. We're hoping we can get plenty more people like you who love the sport and are doing fantastic things for their club. So thank you for joining us on this episode, number 1 for season 2025.
Thanks a lot. Just a pleasure. Take care.
See ya.
Jane, how good is Shayley? Like, been a part of hockey for, probably forever. Obviously, grew up with it. Her sister is a hockey roo, so, been a part of the high performance, but then getting a role straight away in the AIS in a elite time in men's and women's hockey. She's a wonderful person.
Yeah, and I think anyone that comes across her and everyone that knows her in the Hockey WA community loves the work she does. She's so passionate about it. She's one of those people that gets stuff done.
Yes.
And that's what you want in the hockey community, and it's what drives our sport forward in many respects. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, love her.
No, I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you to Shayley for being a part of the show. And if you want to let us know about someone at your club, reach out to Hockey WA on Instagram or send them a message wherever you can. Send them an email if you like. Let us know the people at your club in your community, volunteers, legends of your club, players, coaches, whoever it is. We want to chat to them and know what they love about what they do and why they love your club. So let us know. We'd love to get them on the show. Our last new segment of this show, Jane, Extra Time, where we find a topic, a hockey-related topic, and share our opinions and thoughts.
Get ourselves in trouble.
Yes, well, this one could do, to be fair. We're going to talk about overheads because the rule has always been difficult to umpire, and I think that's always been made clear. But one of the new rules in the Premier League this season is that when the overhead is played, once a player touches it or
deemed in control, as the words are.
Yes, then it's fair play. So as long as a defending player is 5 yards, once the ball is initially touched, it's fair play for them to go and get it. Essentially, what they're trying to stop is the balls that go into the circle where attacker traps it has
baseball shot.
Absolutely whack it through, and a defender is left standing there going, "What do I do?"
Yeah.
So, do you think that's better?
I think they're responding to the game, which is great. I think they sometimes make it more complex than they need to, and it's so hard for umpires to make that split decision and go, yep, that's a free hit out or that's a striker's ball. And sometimes you're going to get a 50-50 call just by pure interpretation, and they have to make that call quickly. So yeah, it's that I think they're trying to make it more free-flowing and not, because obviously we took advantage as the striking team of doing the overheads into the circle and basically like, you have to be 5 until I'm ready for you to tackle me. And that was basically the rule. And so, yeah, you're getting the people that could one touch and then baseball shot, and everyone in that path is probably going to die. So I like the concept of it. It's hard to umpire though.
Yep,
I think in
I agree.
either case, it's so hard to umpire. I don't envy them. My brother being one of them. I think they're trying to respond to something that's happening in the game. We'll see. We've only seen 2 games this season.
Yep.
And there's plenty of overheads being thrown. Definitely the men's side. I've seen that's like a preferred outletting/striking pass, especially in the hotter weather. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it kind of morphs as we go along.
From what I've seen, the umpires have let it go a little bit more as well, and have probably been a little bit more lenient with it. And the players are obviously still adjusting to that, which is always going to happen. So I think. I like the way it's sort of headed. Now, the Hoofklasse, which is the best competition, the equivalent of our Hockey 1 in the Netherlands, have brought in a rule for 2025-26 season that they are taking the overhead out of the game. So they have said we are not accepting that overheads are part of the game. So it's been essentially going to be a breach of rules. So the official wording
Wow.
from them is is as follows. So if you want to go and check it out, it's TULP, TULP Hoofklasser on Instagram. So with the start of the 2025-26 season, an important rule change will be implemented into the TULP main class regarding high balls in field hockey. Players are no longer allowed to intentionally play the ball up with a punch, scoop, or flick, except when a shot on target. In addition, the ball must not come above knee height at all times. The adaptation is intended to make the game safer, clearer, and more attractive. In recent season, there has been both on and off field more and more discussion about high balls. What do you think?
Wow, that'll eliminate a lot of threats, I would say. Defenders out there being like, overheads are my wheelhouse. I'm imagining, I think SCHC has one of the Argentinian girls, defenders playing for them, and her main wheelhouse is a half-court overhead.
Yep.
So that's interesting, especially if you've done your recruiting before that was announced and
100%.
you put someone in your defensive role. That's a huge overhead threat. But yeah, I understand where it's coming from though, especially overheads into the circle. I probably would have kept it at that you can't overhead into the circle because I think that's where most of the danger comes from.
I mean, that would have been the natural progression is to take that out first. But to be honest, I like it. I think this is going to go back to late 90s, maybe early 2000s hockey where the overhead wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
People did it if they needed to. For those that don't know hockey back then, you couldn't auto play. So if you wanted to throw an overhead, someone had to stand close, put their stick out, and put their stick out to measure 1 yard, trap it, and then it would be thrown. So it was a very rare thing to do.
It's too hard.
But I like it because I think this is going to open the game up much more. Like I think we're going to see the skillful players probably run with it more and take players on, which is going to open up counter-attack if you can either...
Well, you can imagine most teams would also start full pressing. They don't suddenly have to worry about the danger zone in behind.
Correct.
And now we're going to get a lot of like hungry strikers just being let loose on defenders because you can't use that dangerous space in behind and you have to go through the flat ball, which is by and large easier to defend.
Yep. Oh, I love it. I think hockey's going to be prettier. In that you're going to see lots of passing chains, and I'm about passing chains. That's you just get it straight through. I really am excited for that rule. Question to you though: do you think they'll bring it in for Hockey One? If you were a Hockey One organiser?
I think Hockey One is the time to make those experimental decisions and then Clubland go yes or no.
Yep.
Clubland, it's a longer season.
Yep.
There's a lot more at stake. It's a lot for an organisation to up and change rules. Hockey One, shorter season obviously, but higher talent kind of in that pool and so can probably, as you said, develop those passing chains a lot better. So I think it could be cool to introduce it as a Hockey One kind of experiment.
Yeah, I'd really like to.
See where we go.
I think it would be good. I think it would be fascinating to see how Australian players adapt to it.
100%. And especially if we all know, this isn't some fabrication, but we know for some reason FIH like the Europeans a lot more than they like every other continent.
That's why we don't have the 2-goal system yet.
Yeah, I know. So I think they'll probably look at the Hoofklasser and go, did it work?
Yep.
And so us being on the front foot and going, let's experiment it, let's expose our high-level players to this type of rule
100%.
change in our local league and see what we can do with it rather than it being an international rule and then that's the first time they come across it.
Yeah, 100%. What it's going to bring back is the hit.
Yeah, the
absolute crunch through the lines to relieve pressure, to find a long target. I'm excited for that because people are going to actually have to learn.
Be more injury prone from the tonk that goes astray.
I think people are going to... Look, I mean, I don't know about your club, but I don't think there's many people that have actually practiced hitting the ball except at goal, and it's a carefree sort of hit because you're just trying to hit at a target. But to be able to
pinpoint a pass,
hit a flat pass with a hit, I think is a skill that's probably not part of the generation that are coming through. So fascinating watch. That was extra time for the first time in Hockey Hour history, but for the first time in 2025. So we'll have topics over the upcoming shows. We'll probably run it every couple of weeks. So if you have a topic you want to know about or you want to incite conversation about between Jane and I, let us know. But Jane, that's it. Episode 1, season 2025. How'd you find it?
Exciting debut, I think.
Yes.
I think we'll get some more controversial topics as the season goes on.
Absolutely.
More headlines to talk about. And I know I'll probably put my foot in it a few times, but
I'm all for it.
I'm excited.
I love it. Thank you for being on board and thanks for joining us. A big thanks to Greta Hayes and Shayley, McGurk, Davy, our guests on the show. We'll be back next week with more Premier League action, community news, and of course, plenty of fun debates between Jane and I. Don't forget to follow Hockey WA on Instagram, hockey_WA, to catch the video highlights of today's show. But make sure you get onto Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. That's where we'll be from now on. But keep up to date with everything. Get out and support your club. And we'll talk next week on the Hockey Hour.